what's up, guys? X-Wing Wave 9 just announced today from the UK, actually. Some spoilers leaked really early this morning, at least in Eastern Standard Time. It was really early this morning. And then shortly thereafter, FFG made the official announcement. And, oh my gosh, who would have thought it coming? First off, the most amazing thing about this is apparently some of these boxes have already been made and were in hand. Some pictures surfaced of people with the actual blister packs and boxes of the Wave 9 ships. So at least some have been fully made already, which is amazing. I don't know if they're going to do a pre-release tournament or if some were early for a Gen Con release, but they're saying it's going to be coming out third quarter, which is awfully soon. So my first question to you is, do you think Asmodee has influenced FFG to a point where they're going to announce stuff much later than so this way you don't have 9 months of when it's announced before you finally get it. Maybe you not only have 2-3 months. I mean, we saw that already with some Imperial Assault, so maybe that's a trend. So if that's a new trend, I'm actually pretty cool with that. We've had a little bit of a downtime, but now we're going to be getting a lot more stuff. So, the first ship, we got 2 more Scum ships coming. The Shadowcaster, now that's flown by Ketso Onyo from Star Wars Rebels. She's been in a couple of episodes now. The Shadowcaster is a large base ship. Apparently it's very fast. We can see a green 3 bank on it. So that's not too common on ships, so she must be very fast. I imagine she probably has a 5 forward, maybe a 5K. I'm just guessing, but very cool for large ships to be that fast. She has a mobile firing arc. That's the big thing about this ship. And it appears like it's an action. She has a new symbol on her action bar. So the mobile firing arc, it appears that as an action you can switch because it comes with a little piece of cardboard that goes on the thing that points out one of the left, right, or rear arcs. And so we don't have the details of if you can choose, like, when, if you can choose it, anywhere, or if it has to just go one, or if it has to go clockwise or counterclockwise or what. But very cool way to do a turret type mechanic without being as broken as just a full-blown turret. So I think this sounds really cool, and I'm really anxious to play with it whenever it comes out. We also see an IG-88 crew with this ship, so that's cool. People have been kind of expecting something like this. So I'd love to see some more details on that. It would be very cool if it kind of mimics the IG ability like the article suggests. This ship, it appears like it has a double illicit, so you can take 2 illicit upgrades on this ship. That'll be a first, so that's really cool. I haven't seen that before. And one of the more interesting things that I find about the preview article for this is that in the picture you see 4 pilots. But then the article also says that you can fly a Scum version of Sabine in the Shadowcaster. Her card is available as a link, but it's not shown in the fan spread. So which makes me think maybe there's more stuff coming than what they're showing us, right? And that's kind of devious on their part, but it's also really cool because now if there's something you want and it doesn't look like it's coming, well, open the box. Maybe there'll be something else in there that, was unspoiled. So next up, the Protectorate Starfighter, also known as the Fang Fighter. This was from the Mandalorians that we saw in Star Wars Rebels and also in the Kanan comic. They have a Talon roll, a 2-speed Talon roll, it seems. They also have boosts, and they can take auto thrusters as a result of that. So it's nice to see another auto thruster candidate, especially one with 3 agility and 3 attack, like they have. They have a lot of stuff that seems to benefit them getting in range 1 because these Mandalorians want to get right in your face and, fire at you head on. So definitely jousters here. Fen Rao is the PS9 pilot that's spoiled. He is very cool looking. He's got, similar to Talonbane, if you're at range 1 he gets an extra die. So that's really cool. And the interesting thing about this too is that it has 6 pilot cards. So we don't normally see 6 pilot cards with a new expansion. I think they're going to want you to fly a lot of these things. So this may be the one swarm type ship, even though they're expensive as like a Kirax or even an original X-Wing. They seem to be in that price range of like a low 20s, mid 20s for most of the pilots. The TIE, the Special Forces TIE from the First Order's most awesome ship from the Force Awakens, the TIE SF. The TIE SF. Now I want to talk about free titles. We've seen a couple of free titles, 0-point titles that are going to come out in this. And these free titles aren't meant as a fix. It's just a way for them to put extra rules on there, as well as not having to clutter up every pilot card. I'm fine with it. I think it's a good idea, and it also gives you. Granted, it may be an auto include, but it's not always going to be an auto include. I mean, the game system is designed as such that they could, in theory, come up with a generic title that can go on any ship. And now all of a sudden, you have an opportunity cost. Oh, well, there's a title that adds 1 attack die to any ship. But it costs 20 points, you know. And so, but if I add this on this ship, now I can't take one of the other titles that was, you know, a free one. So there's all that sort of thing to think about. I'm not suggesting that they're going to do that, but they could. So, you know, just because it's a 0-point title, it doesn't mean the sky is falling. So the title here basically, it means that if well, before I talk about the title, let's talk about what makes the title work. The TIE SF has a auxiliary firing arc, just like the Slave One. It can shoot out of its backside, and the cardboard insert is, you know, printed slightly differently to kind of allow these lines. So it's a kind of a cool new design scheme for the little cardboard chit. So it actually has a different sculpt than the regular TIE Fighter. As you can see here, you know, the TIE SF. Now this is a really big one, but the TIE SF does have, you know, an antenna on top, and then it has an extra little turret here on the bottom, and then the back is different, right? This is not what your TIE Fighters look like in the back. So this is the Star Wars Black Series one, not really the same one that you're gonna, you know, a little bit bigger than the one you'll get for X-Wing, but yeah. So the title basically lets you have the option to shoot this thing 3 dice forward, even though it's got a primary attack of 2, or just go 2 dice forward, and then you can have a second attack shooting 2 dice backwards. So it's great to have options. If you go 3 dice forward, then it's almost like an X-Wing. You know, and the stats are actually pretty comparable to X-Wings. But if you go, or you can go 2 dice forward and 2 dice back. Love to have options. Options are always a good thing. Can't go 3 dice back, though, at least not normally. And it comes with a system slot and a tech slot, so this will be the first combination of those we've seen. So all in all, it looks like a pretty good ship. And it has a really cool PS9 pilot coming out with it too, and I can't wait to see some more of the pilots. This PS9 pilot looks like he could potentially shoot 3 times. Oh man, insane. All right, the ARC 170. Now here is like the biggest wow factor of the game, of Wave 9 is, you know, we're now seeing Clone Wars era ships. Now this is a Rebellion ship. It has even the little Rebel logo on the side, so I think the idea here is that some ARC 170s are still in service during the Rebellion, even though we don't see them in the movies. That's fine. I was always against prequel stuff being in this game, but it's been out for long enough now that I'm like, I'm okay with adding a couple of, you know, prequel Clone Wars era ships. Some of them were pretty cool. I'm okay with it. It's not like it matters if I'm okay with it or not, but personally, I feel okay with it. We have a lot of other ships, and they're not just doing only Clone Wars stuff. They're doing a whole bunch of different things, so that's cool. Now, it's a big ship. It looks like it's about the size of the K-Wing for a small base ship, so that's cool. The ARC 170 also has an auxiliary firing arc, and just like the TIE SF, it's kind of like the Rebels' answer to that. It also has a free title. Although it's slightly different. It's similar in spirit, but different in application to the SF title. And basically what it does is it lets you do an extra die in the front, or shoot out the back and turn an eyeball into a crit. So you don't get 2 attacks, but you have an option of getting a crit out the back or a 3rd die out the front. Pretty cool, especially in that you may, depending on your situation, you may need to get that crit through, so you may want to shoot only out the back because of that ability, so it's nice to have those options. You've got, now the ARC 170 has no generics, or at least not that we can see. It appears to have all 4 pilots are unique. We're getting characters that are from like the books and the comics and stuff, so nobody that was on screen, but these are, you know, and these are just, you know, people from, like, for example, Nora Wexley from Aftermath. She's Snap Wexley's mom. There's a couple of moms. You also got Poe Dameron's mom in there, so people are trying to come up with moms lists. So, yeah, there's some jokes that I'm going to refrain from right now, but there's some joke names that are pretty clever. I saw some good ones. Let's see. We also have this is a very cool thing. This ship can do crew and astromech. So there's all kinds of cool combinations you can think of. The first one I thought of was R7T1, which will work great on this ship because maybe you boost away and now you've got them in the rear firing arc, right? R7T1, really cool astromech that didn't see a lot of use on any of the ships that could take astromechs because a lot of times they wouldn't want to boost away. But then also, you put a weapons engineer on there, and then you're basically getting double your buck. You're getting like 3 actions for 1, and lining up a rear arc shot potentially. So anyway, really cool ability, really cool combination of stuff, and it's a pretty tanky ship. Although they say it's going to be kind of slow. So that's what Wave 9 is looking like. Maybe out in a couple of months. It may be out much sooner than we thought. And if so, how do you feel about that? Do you think that stuff is going to be coming out too quickly now? Or does it just seem like that because we're used to waiting for 9 months or a year even sometimes for certain releases? And the best thing about this whole wave and this announcement is the fact that there could be more than what they've spoiled for us. There absolutely could be. We have not seen Sabine's card, for example, laid out with the Shadowcaster. So what else is not being displayed that's coming with this wave? What do you think? Do you think there's more? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, like and subscribe, and I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks so much. Bye.